Hari Om! Welcome to another episode of Honoring Our Elders, our mini-series podcast. My name is Varsha. I'm a chick seeker from the Boston area, and I'm here today with Shashiji. Shashiji is one of our Chinmaya Mission Niagara guides, and also my resident guide, our resident guide for Chinmaya Mission here in Boston. So Shashiji, it's so wonderful to have you today. Thanks for taking the time to chat. To start out and set the scene, I was wondering if Shashiji can share a little bit about your journey into Vedanta, coming from a medical background, and also what pulls you to serve Chinmaya Mission day in and day out now.
My story is very long when you look back, but I think everything fits like a jigsaw puzzle. That's what I feel right now. So yes, I started, in the medical profession when I came to this country. Very busy life with 2 children. But as I was facing the stresses of a new job, I felt like I needed some peace. And into my life walked Swami Chinmayananda. I think that was a turning point. And somehow it also brought meditation into my life at that time, and the seva of Bala Vihar as well. So I think all things fell into place after Swamiji's arrival in my life. And, that Bala Vihar seva, and whatever has happened after that, I feel like Gurudev was constantly teaching and polishing me to the point when I felt like in 2013 that I've been, I really felt like there was a void in my understanding of Vedanta. And so I approached Swami Tejomayananda, and he allowed me to go to the Vedanta Course in Mumbai, which is such a beautiful thing in my life when I think about it. And I was blessed, and Swami Tejomayananda was my Acharya. And this is how I entered into Vedanta, and the medical profession in a way also was responsible, not just that it caused me stress, but I was always somebody who would go into deep thinking. And being a pathologist, seeing death and disease a lot, I would always bring the question, is that all we are? This body which is ravished by diseases, or this death which just puts an end to somebody who was walking, talking amidst us, somebody so dear to all of us. Is that all life is? Or is there more? So I knew that Vedanta would have answers, but it was not sitting in me. And so, it also prompted me to seek, answers as well. So yeah, that's how Vedanta opened up for me. There's nothing more fulfilling. Because, I a couple times when I felt like something around me is a little bit of overwhelming type of a thing, I remind myself, and I get guidance from Gurudev. I have to say, in the form of somebody speaking to me, or something I read. And what more can I say when I see Hanumanji in front? I felt like Guruji put Hanumanji here for us to constantly remind us that seva is the way to reach that Bhagwan as well. So as I think I told, when did I say this about Hanuman Chalisa? I just was talking. Anyway, 2 things come to my mind when I chant the Hanuman Chalisa. One is Tum Rakshaku Kahu Ko Dharna. When you're there, Bhagwan, what is there to fear? Right? I say that to myself. And secondly, Sada Raho Raghupati Ke Dasa. If Hanumanji served every second of his thing, what to talk of us? So little time I have which I can share. And that's the most joyful time, when I feel so light. So I love to be with people, I love to do seva, and I know all this is not that I'm doing seva for somebody, but it's coming to just help me polish and move forward on this spiritual journey.
Yeah. So I'm skipping ahead to one of my later questions because it relates to what Shashiji just shared from Hanuman Chalisa. I feel just speaking personally, I feel when I'm caring for my elders, or just thinking about and speaking to my parents and grandmother, I feel something that comes into those conversations is a lot of worry and fear. Like fear if they're healthy, fear if, just the process of change and aging. And so my attachment is coming a lot with that fear. And I think sometimes that gets in the way of meaningful connection, if your connection is first guarded by fear and worry about, and it can be controlling and things like that. So how do we let go of that fear and worry, specifically when we're so attached to the people in our lives, the people we want to care for and care about? how do we not let that fear take shape?
So, Vasha, I think about this and I say, how do I mean, I'm now relating to my children, my grandchildren, my spouse, my parents are, passed on. So when I think about it and I say, how is my love to them? I mean, in what way do I love them? Is the love associated with fear and insecurity and that attachment? You think about it. I think that's what it is for you too. When you think of mom, or when you think of dad, or when you think of grandma, you want a physical presence always with you. There's nothing wrong. That's what we all want. But so now it is that love is sort of caught and entangled with fear and insecurity and attachment. So it's not free love. It's not loving in freedom. So, that doesn't bring that ultimate, satisfaction, even though you love your mom so much, or anybody, grandchild or children, whatever, from my point. So I try to focus on something to bring to my awareness. This is something we have to do because we're all spiritual seekers. Is that the way I'm connected to my children, grandchildren, whether it was my parents or my spouse, is through that divinity in each one of us, right? That's what's really connecting us, because we are studying Vedanta. We forget Vedanta, we know that our physical body is not going to be there, but we miss that and we cry. And so I try to remind myself of that. My first lesson actually came from Pujya Gurudev himself. I wanted to be with his physical presence all the time. I just met him. I was eagerly looking forward to be in his presence in the Los Angeles camp. And there he was, very sick, and very soon after that, he passed on. And I was so disappointed because I had thought I had found my guru, and here this physical form, the guru, is no longer available for me anymore. So I was so sad, but he's never left me. Even to this day, I can see his support, his guidance, his love, compassion, everything all the time. Now, in fact, that's what we should focus on. So as you enjoy the moment, be in the moment, don't have that fear of that, anxiety there. Why not enjoy their presence? If they're sick or something and you're going to take care, don't be worried about what will happen. Just be grateful that you have an opportunity to be with them, to take care of them. These are the moments you focus on rather than the future of what will happen.
Yeah.
Think about it that way. It'll help. It's not easy, ma. Spiritual path is not that easy. But if we are open to learn lessons, we just fly. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question I had on that thread is, I feel as we age, I feel like sometimes I think now that I'm 25, I can't relate to people who are in college anymore, or I can't relate to people who have kids. Age kind of puts us in these buckets and stages of life, and then it gets harder to relate to our older generation or the younger generation. And so as you're moving through life, like, there's always a blocker in connection. Is that ego? Is that like super heavily associating with your identities? How can we just break that so that you can sincerely connect with an elder or someone super young?
Yeah. What happens is we feel like they're not talking the language we do. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
What my friends are talking, or in what's happening in my world. So it's sort of ego related. There's no doubt about it. But if you just enjoy their presence, you don't have to say wise words from grandma. There's no need. Just enjoy their presence, because they love at that stage. I'm talking now of this, is now very free, because they have finished their responsibility of taking care of disciplining their children and everything. So with their grandchildren, I'm talking now of grandchildren, it's sort of a much more freer type of love, and that soothing presence we should learn to enjoy. And what should you do? How do you do that? Any little thing, they'll be so pleased. If you say, please sit down here and give up your seat, just being a little aware, they'll feel so touched. So any little thing you do, it goes miles for them. So that's all you have to do for old people. Elders. There's no need to, or hey, can I carry your bag? Wait, I'll open the door for you. Small things. Do you want a glass of water? Finished. Touches the heart. That's all you have to do. And then you see, you get a joy because you helped somebody, and it was such a small thing, and then you see the pleasure in their face. Oh, that's such a blessing. I think that start with that. And then you don't have to listen to long discourses from them. They're very easily pleased.
Shashiji teaches vanaprasthas, chicks, the little ones, youth, adults, parents, all sorts of ages. So specifically with like spiritual wisdom, Vedanta, how does Shashiji teach across those different groups of people? Is it different styles of teaching? Is it, how has Shashiji found seekers in different ages?
Of course, I started with Bala Vihar. That was my favorite at that time because I love being a child. And even now I go back to that sometimes. I forget myself. I just love being with little ones. They bring the back, they're so innocent and their love is so pure that I can connect very easily with them. Even now, I can go sit in a kindergarten class and have fun. Okay? As it gets, I think every teacher will go through that struggle a little because what has happened is we moved more and more away from the scene in which these children are growing, and we try very hard to relate to them and sometimes we might not be successful. But if you just go, I feel like any class that I go to, if I had to say do something for the youth, I just seek Gurudev's blessings and say, I'm going as your instrument. Let me do my very best. Now this is the struggle with the youth and things, And with the chick, I feel the more honest I am with them about life, and it's not like all high-flown stuff. We do go through struggles. We also have been through all of them. So being very honest with them, then they can relate much more to us. Like, oh, she also went through struggles. She's not somebody sitting there preaching things. And that makes it easy to communicate with you. Now with adults, I'm getting a bit more serious with them. We have little time now and we've done enough of extrovertedness. And so this is the time to build yourself to prepare for that vanaprastha, sannyasa and everything. So I'm a little bit more serious. I say sadhana has to be done, or a little some harsh, not harsh, but softly covered, but start saying this is important in your life. This is where we have to focus. We now have the ability to sort of, think. We've done so much of thinking in the past. So start building your life, preparing your life for vanaprastha and sannyasa. And for people like me, it's most definitely this is it for you. Don't keep running into your children's life. Don't try to micromanage and don't try to say, I will do everything for you. No, you've done that. It's over. That stage of your life is over. Now it is how to move on in your spiritual journey. If they ask for help, of course you go, help them and be there for them. But that doesn't mean you run their lives or you micromanage all those things. You know how many parents get caught in that.
Yeah.
So this is the way I would sort of proceed with different ages. And my teaching will be sort of, emphasis will be like that.
Just all age more gracefully now that we are seekers on this journey.
Hold on to Vedanta. That is our strength. Hold on to the Guru. Because they will guide you in times of, when you have doubts and questions, self-doubt, mostly. So, and then seek the advice of wise people whenever you feel like you're getting too entangled and you can't really see clearly. These are 3 things I would say. But I think what you are all doing is the best thing that you're doing. Like, getting a grounding in the spiritual path at this age is essential. Because no matter who you are, you'll face those ups and downs, which can become pretty daunting at certain times. Well, you're talked about job and everything. It'll happen to you. It's not that it's not going to happen. You'll wonder whether this is right or whether, you have tough bosses, how to, handle some tough situations which happen. I was a pathologist. Diagnosis is so important. A patient is going to be taken care of completely based on what the work I try to do and give my, the very best, and say, it's always a scenario which can happen. So it can. And so how do you deal? Where is your strength? The strength is only through your grounding in Vedanta, your Guru's blessings. And really, that's where you have to be very strict about that in your life. Don't let go of that, because that's your strength to deal with any of these life happenings which come and go. Remember that. Yeah.
Specifically, going to Shashiji's experience in the medical field. Did Shashiji have experience working with or caring for elder patients? I know Shashiji mentioned the concepts of like death and the aging of the body, and knowing that like all of this will come to an end. Did Shashiji have any learnings from patients or working with patients who are ill or needing to be cared for?
So as a pathologist, we don't have direct patient care, okay? But I think Bhagwan said, no, you can learn from what you're doing. So as a pathologist, I really know the in and out of the workings of the body, how disease starts, how it ravages the body, everything is very clear. So many times, you have visualization of these horrible things inside you. So you know everything as far as what goes on. So to me, I think that was a big eye-opener. And I think I was ready to learn from that. So I, as a pathologist, when I saw death, and I would always wonder, I would be like, just about 12 hours ago, or some hours ago, on the floor upstairs with the family surrounding them, who are all wanting this person to live, and the doctors wanting to save the life of this person. Everybody's trying so hard to save the life of this person. And there is this, inner thing in front of me. What left? What was that? What was there and what left? Right? The brain is still there, the lungs are still functioning, the medulla is still there. Name any part of the body which presently is managing all the functions here. But yet something left. And so all the things are still there. What was that? That was it was a really deep question, haunting question that I would struggle with for many, many years. It would sort of take me to a feeling of helplessness and sometimes, what can I say? Anger, like I don't know what it is. I want to know, and I just didn't feel like I was getting the right answers from medicine, which had made me study everything, the advances that were happening. Nothing answered this, So yeah, I think that's how my medical profession truly actually awakened me. It did. And I've seen Bhagwan's hand in sometimes, which is, I can't tell you, it's only His grace. His grace that saved me. Saved me. So it's become very evident that whether it is in medicine, if you keep an open mind, you learn so much which will guide your life and shape your life. Yeah.
So something I was thinking of recently is how in society we've moved away from, especially in the US, like multi-generational living. I know Shashiji has kids who live separately and grandchildren who aren't close. So how can we care for our elders or support our elders across a physical barrier or sometimes a technological barrier? What does that look like, and how can we be better at that?
It's sort of a give and take, I think, on both sides. Because what happens is, people like us and you live independently, so independent. You're pushed out. You're all pushed out of your homes at 18. Not like us. We stayed, hanging around in our parents' home for some time till we got married, is what I mean. So and that sort of brings an egoistic thing in all of us, whether it's you youngsters or we elders. That prevents us from adjusting to each other. Okay, our generation, it was different, Varsha, because my husband's parents came and stayed with us for some time, and we celebrated a lot of festivals because I was still from India. You hold on to all of. So that meant getting people to your house and always confusion everywhere, but we loved it, we enjoyed it, that was life. So that's, we're slightly in a different thing. And maybe our children, like you, were your age, or much older, whatever, they were also exposed to a grandma living at home, grandpa living at home. So they've seen some of it. But you're right, it's getting less and less and less. So if the elders can let go of their ego a little and try to remain a little bit silent and not too interfering, that'll help the younger ones also to take care of them. And the younger ones, if they have the strength and just that love for taking care of the elders, and if the elders can make it a little smooth for them, I think it'll work. So we don't have to be so afraid, because a time will come when I feel like I might have to go stay with my children. And my children luckily want that to happen. I know it's not going to be easy to take care of elders, but they want it. If it has to happen, they're ready for that. So we have to just keep this open in our minds, and also I hope the elders learn not to be so egoistic and have their way. This is not what I did when I'm in my house, or I'm not getting this here, or trying to interfere in the lives. Oh, why are you doing this? Those type of things we should keep quiet. So it's two ways actually. So you don't have to feel too bad about it. The strength comes again from our spirituality path. That's it. Because if we have to have awareness, clarity in thinking, and then therefore be able to respond, to accept, all those things, right? We really need it. We need that type of thinking in our mind right from the beginning. So the groundwork should be made by us, because it will soften so many things for us in life. And I think that's what's helped me, when I think about it, because you have to constantly work on yourself. And when you do more and more of that, it becomes easier. You'll know when to, take action, and when to sort of say, what a small thing, why am I getting entangled in this? So all that awareness comes to us, right? And the awareness comes only through all these things. Either you've done a life of social service and, contributed in that seva and kept your mind quiet in spite of, lots of differing opinions around you. Or that bhakti, where you look at, cultivate that love for Hanuman and develop more and more deeper connection with something higher. Or, developing more and more of an expansive vision, be part of a huge community and things like that. All of that will reduce this clutter in your mind, and you become more available to this type of what you want, learning, acceptance, and which brings so much peace to us actually.
Yeah.
Otherwise we're struggling with our own unnecessary thoughts, which get us nowhere.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we are very fortunate that Gurudev has come into all our lives in different ways and has drawn us into it, and is with us. That you never forget.